Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Zeno Clash 2. I must admit, I never played the original Zeno Clash, but what this is probably going to be pretty apparent to you as soon as I click the left and right mouse button here. This is a first-person fighting game, not unlike, I guess, Beast Boxing Turbo or, you know, Prize Fighter on the Sega CD, I guess. But this is available on Steam. It just came out a little bit earlier today, but this video will probably be up a little bit later. And this game is freaking weird. I mean, just look at this dude. He's got, like, weird little testicular jowls and a nose only a mother could love. He's wearing a pot on his head. You know what his name is? His name's Pot. He's carrying his parents around in a big backpack down here. That's kind of cute, though. This is the father-mother. I'm not totally familiar with their story because the game just kind of throws you into things, assuming you know the original plot of the game, which I do not, or the plot of the original game, which I do not. But I believe she kidnapped a bunch of children earlier in her life, like me and Pot, and then raised them as her own. In any case, we're going to focus mostly on the gameplay here because the story is batshit crazy. One second, I should be able to add Pot as an ally here. I can get rid of this guy. Oh no, I don't have enough leadership skill to add him as an ally, unfortunately. Okay, so basically, what we are going to do is just find this waypoint on our map, and we'll get into some combat. So again, this is a first-person fighting game that is story-driven, but is also open-world, although so far things have been very linear. Admittedly, I've only played about an hour of this game so far. I have some major issues with the time that I spent with this game so far, not least of which clunky controls, although the combat, I will admit, is interesting. I mean, who, as a kid who was into gaming... Excuse me? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do about you, good sir.
We're trapped in here.
Who are you?
Wasn't Pot brave, defending Father-Mother all by himself? Everyone thought he was weak, but when tested, he proved everyone wrong.
The voice acting is another major problem I have.
What do you want with us?
2 dogs howl at the moon, one domesticated, the other a wild wolf. I need to see where this goes.
Let us out.
If you don't use my gift, you'll remain stuck, and I need to see where this goes. Goodbye. You can let yourselves out now.
So, Robot Morgan Freeman has just given us some kind of gauntlet that we can attach to our arms. Like I said, game's a little funky, right? Where was that thing that he gave us here? Alright. Secondary weapon, Sun Moon Gauntlet. Hold and aim at Sun or Moon, release to attack. Alright, so we'll hit 3. And then C, and then aim it at the sun or the moon and attack. Is this not the sun? Okay, we gotta go to the other one then, I guess. I'm very confused about this. We'll stand in the same position as him. We'll fire it up at the sun. Release to attack, okay. Sorry, that was totally my bad. I believe that has, okay, disabled him. Anyway, now after that insanity, get used to that happening in this game from time to time, but this is a first-person fighting game that I have serious problems with. The AI, in particular, has been a real problem. And even though it's open world, it's been linear so far. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but we should get into some combat soon, because generally speaking, I can't walk more than 15 seconds without getting either a fast travel sequence, a cutscene, well, here's our fast travel sequence, a cutscene, or a random encounter. Or a seemingly random encounter. Once we get into the gameplay, you know, it might seem like I'm ragging on this game pretty hard considering we're only a few minutes in here. I am going to talk over this for a bit, but it might seem like I'm being pretty hard on the game even though we're only a few minutes in, but you know, it definitely is an interesting concept. I can't take that away from them. Having not played the original, I don't know how this stacks up to the original, but playing it for the first time, I don't know if this is an accessible game at all, and I definitely think it needs a great deal of polish in order to be accessible. Like, the fact that they just launched right into the Zeno Clash 2 story, which is fucking crazy. I mean, this is not like a standard tale of revenge. There's some crazy shit going on here. It's alienating. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'm basically walking around as Tattoo Mustache Man, trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to be doing and punching people in the face while I'm doing it, which is definitely the coolest part of the game, but also frustrating sometimes as well. Alright, so we got this angry dude here. Let's get our fists ready. We can block as well using the space button. Space bar, I should say. You can also use the Xbox 360 controller for this, but for once I decided to err on the side of being a smart dude because that seems like it might be a kind of a tall order for me. We've got some more asshole things over here. It kind of reminds me of being in like the Fallout world a little bit. I'm not sure if I can break these pots. By the way, there are other abilities. Like, just because I just keep using left punch doesn't mean that's the only thing available. We can do it like a charged up left punch. We have a stamina meter below our health up there in the top left that you can see. We can click both buttons together to do some kind of special punch. You know, we can do a sprinting attack. Anyway, we'll get into that more as we make our way to this waypoint over here. I hope we start fighting some dudes soon, because I really want to show off the most frustrating part of this game so far, which has absolutely been the AI, which, you know in Halo 1, where, like, you're fighting against the Flood as well as the Covenant. That's a fast travel beacon. You're fighting against the Flood as well as the Covenant, and it was so revolutionary because, like, they could fight each other if you pitted them against one another. It's kind of like that, except everyone is on the same team here. But if, like, two executioners or something, or two enforcers will come and attack you. But if one of them accidentally hits the other one, then he's just like, "Hey, fuck you," and then they start fist fighting right in front of you, and you're like, "Guys, I'm the bad guy to you here. You should really like stop fighting each other just because of one misclick." I don't know. It's very, very strange. Is basically all I can say about that. Let's go over here and fight these dudes that look like they're from the Never-Ending Story. Art design in this game, real neat, I gotta say. These are some of the most interesting looking. I mean, these enemies necessarily are not the most original thing in the world, but the major characters are all pretty neat. Especially the Father Mother has some super interesting character design. All right, we're gonna get into a real fist fight here. So we'll show off some of the actual game here. This is a Woo Him Marauder. So what I've done there is just try to hit the block button. You know, it's a standard kind of fist fighting game in that sense, almost like a Sleeping Dogs, where if you block around the same time that you get attacked, you can do a counter, which does a lot of damage. I'm just doing this to crowd control, basically. As you can see, you know, control's a little bit clunky. I can't fault it. It's a game the likes of which I've never played before. We can do a grab as well, and we could, you know, punch him 20 or 30 times and then do some serious damage. And then, I guess, pile drive him to kill him, which was actually pretty badass. What do we have here? That is a skull bomb of some sort, I believe. Again, the tutorial in this game, I played through it. It took me 5-10 minutes, but I didn't really learn anything at all, seemingly, about the game. Because then, like, 2 minutes into the game, somebody's like, "Go pick up some skull bombs and herp de derp." And I'm like, what the fuck is a skull bomb? And then I throw one by accident by hitting one of these the hotkeys, and then it explodes and almost kills me. I don't know. I think this game does a pretty piss-poor job of explaining everything, maybe even in combat. Like, the tutorial seems to do a pretty good job while you're in it of teaching you what to do for combat, but now that I've actually entered the game, I find what works best for me is mostly just left, right, left, right, left, right, trying to get some sweet combos going. And this is the first time, I will admit, the action's been coming pretty fast and furious. This environment looks pretty good too, but this is the first time, or the longest time, where I've really had a prolonged experience of just not doing anything at all. Again, I can't stress enough that for all the negatives I say about this game, character design and art style are real interesting. And, you know, graphically, it kind of looks like a earlier Xbox 360 launch title or something like that. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But it makes up for it in a kind of creative art style for sure. So am I going to have to fight these dudes, or are these dudes on my side? Sometimes it's hard to tell. I guess we will get another cutscene.
Gastornis, Father Mother needs our help. Father Mother is not in the jail anymore, and only we can help keep her out.
Father Mother, fuck. Wicked big fuck.
Is that your mother?
Let's get out of here, Rimat.
Fuck. Fight. Fight. You fight.
Alright, this seems real scary. We're gonna be fighting some bird people. So whenever we get into a major encounter, we have the option to call on our allies here. So this is some dude we rescued from a prison who I have not heard from since. Oh, and I guess I just didn't call on anybody else because I didn't hit continue in time. So we are probably gonna die. So much for me getting a chance to explain what was going on here. So as you can see, there's like 8 angry birdmen. We're just gonna, oh god, get out of here, punch him in the face as much as I can. These guys will oftentimes, you know when you watch like a kung fu movie? Oh no, our ally is involved in combat there. You know, sometimes you'll watch a kung fu movie and you'll be like, why don't they all just fight him at the same time? That is what I feel a lot of the time when I'm playing this game. I'm like, why, if you motherfuckers just swarm me, I would have no chance at all. But because you're giving me a very good chance to get away, then I can actually win some of these encounters that I probably, if I'm being honest, should not. And, you know, sprint attacking has worked out really well for me. Block's important as well. I've died a couple of times. I wouldn't necessarily say the game is easy, but it doesn't seem super difficult so far either, especially if you have allies who are half decent. Did one of my allies get straight up murdered by these birdmen? He seems to not be in a great place. Is that him lying dead on the floor? No, it's just a bonfire. Okay. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to lose this one, and I deserve to lose this one, quite honestly. But my elbow attack is working pretty sweetly. They actually are swarming me now. Maybe that's something that happens later, or as you get slightly later in the game. So I'm just going to try to get a sweet parry off here, basically. You can also evade her. Maybe when I kill their mom, they'll just back off, because, you know, that would make me pretty much the ultimate dick. Another tactic that works pretty well, knocking them down to the ground and then stomping them. You remember in old wrestling games how that would be what you do? You like knock them to the ground and then just stomp on them repeatedly until they lost all their health, and then you could pin them. Pretty similar mechanic at work here in the time that I've spent with it so far. Again, remember that these are first impressions. I always feel the need to add that kind of a little extra when I am playing a game that I don't necessarily like all that much. So always, you know, find your own reviews as well if you're interested in making a purchase on this regardless. But man, I don't know. Apart from the art design and an admittedly like a pretty original concept, I don't necessarily have a lot of positive things to say about my time with Zeno Clash. Let me just knock this mother out on her ass. That gray screen doesn't mean I'm dying in Call of Duty. It means that I'm running out of stamina here. But I'm doing pretty well with just my constant sprint attack mashing. Lock-on function gets a little weird as well sometimes, but the fact that this is actually working is crazy to me. It's weird because I equate this game a little bit to Sleeping Dogs in that, you know, you're dealing one-person hand-to-hand combat against many people, but at the same time it works a lot less fluidly than Sleeping Dogs, and that might be like endemic to the fact that it's you know, using this really unique but also quite strange kind of fighting style here, which is first person, which makes it weird because, you know, I don't know, I'm used to first person shooters or third person hand-to-hand combat games, which there aren't that many of. But suffice it to say, not that the games are remotely similar beyond my own kind of idiotic comparison here, but Sleeping Dogs is a game that I had a lot more fun with than I've had here. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the combat doesn't seem that visceral all the time. Like it seems almost like War of the Roses, how I mentioned that the combat in that is like really floaty, and when you hit, it doesn't necessarily always feel like you hit. There are exceptions to this, like when I managed to knock one of these guys to the ground with a sweet elbow. That feels pretty good. And again, I am just, you know, abusing the same tactics over and over here, so that might be my problem for not learning the mechanics fluidly enough. But we're going to respawn, and I'm going to remember to get all of my companions this time, which will hopefully stop that crowd control from becoming such a damn issue. That was entirely my own fault, by the way, for talking during that loading screen. How many people is that going to affect? Probably like 1 in 20. So I guess we're going to walk up here, and we'll probably have the option to skip this cutscene. Again, environments look real neat in my opinion. I hate when games do the sprint thing where like your field of view outside of the bounds of like the immediate narrow focus get blurry. I don't know why games do that. It has a tendency to give me some pretty serious motion sickness. But I don't know, maybe that motion blur actually makes the game look better. Did I see? Okay, now I want to choose allies. Maybe the motion blur masks some of the game's visual shortcomings or something like that. I don't know. I don't pretend to know anything and everything. Oh, I think we have an option to do a sweet... Yeah, that was basically like a Sleeping Dog style parry that we were able to do there. So, again, I haven't mentioned this too much, but you don't just mash left and right all the time. You know, you can hold them in to do a stronger attack, which is pretty basic. But at the same time, you did see some grabs earlier. There are some special attacks like the one you saw right there, which does drain our special meter. And there are uppercuts as well, although I struggle with being able to get those off a lot of the time. Basically, I think you're supposed to do like it matters like what direction you're moving in when it happens, and it might be like a back left-right click that allows you to do this, or a back-left click that allows you to uppercut. I was able to do it consistently in the tutorial, but I don't know why. The mechanics feel a lot differently in the actual game itself than they did in the tutorial. Maybe that's just because I'm on the spot here, basically dealing with these enemies. But again, if I could just knock this dude to the ground. A big mechanic here is also stunning enemies. Are you serious? Are both of my other dudes dead? Well, that was pretty quick. I actually did manage to get an uppercut off there. Let's try to fight these guys in a different way. By having them, like, punch me, and then I'll try to do some parrying. If I could... There we go. Oh, that didn't work, actually. I timed it poorly. I can't believe both of my allies are dead already. What am I supposed to do? Just, like, run away and do the same sprint tactic again? This is, like, kind of really bad, actually. This is the least fun I've had with the game so far. It's also the most difficult part of the game so far, but at the same time... I definitely want to get through this to show off more of the game. We haven't showed off very much at all beyond a couple of cutscenes over and over. But we want to stun enemies and then be able to do that pile driver thing that you saw us do earlier. I don't understand why my allies are so weak, though. I guess I could throw some skull bombs at them here. Yeah, but actually I don't have any in my inventory, do I? Oh, maybe I do. Okay, so that might help me with crowd control a little bit. They're going to run away from it because they're smart dudes. So, I mean, that's good AI, but at the same time, I would love to be able to actually have them be a little stupider so that I could do damage. And I really hope we do get to see the AI, like, fighting each other. Because that's the funniest thing that I've encountered so far in this game, by a mile, basically, is, like, just the AI deciding to kill itself because I have no idea, honestly. Now, we are out of skull bombs, but that did allow us to kill at least one of these dudes. If we make it out of this encounter, I mean, so far this video has basically just been me running backwards and occasionally punching people. Again, I'm not sure if we just fight the boss, if we'll succeed here. And again, that lock-on gets real funky sometimes. Not funky in the good George Clinton way, funky in the how I smelled after Josh's stream way. But I guess we'll try to engage them a little bit here. Maybe we're not meant to be at this encounter yet. Maybe we're meant to go to the other waypoint first. But again, and in terms of the story, the best way that I can approximate it or like try to explain what's going on right now is, again, the father-mother who we saw earlier, the big angry crow-looking dude slash lady. She is a former kidnapper of children, but she's like a benevolent kidnapper, if that makes sense. But she stole like all of these people from their mothers, and then at the end of the first game, I believe she was captured or something, so they all went back to their original parents. So we're actually fighting one of our brothers right now, strangely enough. And that's about all I know. The main antagonist of this game is a cool-looking dude called the Golem. You know what this reminds me of? In its weirdness and kind of pseudo-poor execution is, definitely, oh, if I hit, click on the, I missed the ability to do like a sweet finisher there. Whenever that happens, whenever you get like a slow-mo move like that, you have to try to hit them, or put your crosshair over that circle that showed up. So it's almost like a miniature QuickTime event, not to make it seem worse than it is. But this really reminds me of like EYE Divine Cybermancy from a couple years ago, where it's like, sure, cool-ish idea, but at the same time, I don't know if you're 100% there in the execution yet. There's another kill. We might actually be able to make it out of this encounter. At which point I would consider myself to be a god among birdmen here. I don't know bird law, by the way, but I'm pretty sure these guys are in violation of it right now. So there we go. We'll smack that dude in the face, back it up a little bit, and this lock-on, man, it messes with the camera. Something fierce. And this running in elbow trick seems to be working pretty well. I mean, the cool thing about this is that in a Dark Souls style way, one of these enemies can absolutely like ruin your life. Like, if you go one-on-one and you just start spamming, like I kind of am, oh my god, these rocks do more damage than their fists. You could easily find yourself dying to one enemy, and I have, as you might expect, given my seeming ineptitude of this game. But at the same time, the ability to abuse mechanics like this seems pretty silly. And, you know, I'm cognizant of the fact, don't get me wrong, that this might be a 10 or 20, or like we're at 20 minutes now, but this might be a 20-minute video of me just doing this one encounter, but that's, you know, if that's indicative of the gameplay experience, then so be it. Sadly, I would love to show off some more engaging stuff, but the game, even like from the immediate, the tutorial was actually really fun, but after that, it starts off with like you fighting 10 people in a bar, and I'm like, oh, so it's just gonna be this for like the whole game. And that's kind of how it's been. I shouldn't say I immediately thought it was just going to be like that for the whole game, but I was afraid that it was going to be like that for the whole game. And then that's exactly how it's gone so far. But we do only have 3 enemies left here. Mind you, one of them is the boss. Oh my god, I got stuck like against a tree or something, so the rock still hit me. Why don't these guys swarm me instead of just throwing rocks? So I guess the easy answer is that the rocks have been doing more damage. How are these guys doing on health? The mother's still doing pretty well. But Grozbek is not. He is gonna die in like one more punch. And if, oh my god, these fucking, look at this, like what, just swarm me, stop throwing rocks at me. Every enemy, regardless of their species, loves throwing rocks. Maybe we can get a chance to swarm this guy. Okay, we're doing a little bit of damage. I'm gonna die to rocks throwing, and that is gonna be the most frustrating part of this for me by far. Just block a little bit. Again, the combat, I don't know, it just doesn't feel fluid. I love the idea for the game, but in execution, there's significant problems. Just die, please. Oh my god, he blocked my punch by just holding his forearms out in front of his chest. I almost feel like it's better with the lock-on, not on. Just one, there we go, he's been knocked out. Now we run away, and we're gonna rinse and repeat, and this is infuriating, honestly. I feel way worse about this game since starting the video than I did before. I was tempted to be like, you know, it's expensive. I believe this is 15 or 20 bucks on Steam. It's not super expensive. It's not AAA expensive, obviously, but it is, you know, a high-tier indie game in terms of price. But, like, I was tempted to be like, it's an interesting idea if you're willing to put up with some kind of mixed everything, like some mediocre, a lot of things going on with the game, then, you know, consider it. But now I'm just having so little fun with it that I mean, I have succeeded on this encounter. I did it in the most roundabout way possible, but it's working out pretty well for me, I gotta say. The mother is even a little scared of me. I think she was trying to throw a rock at me there, which is not gonna fly, lady. Remember, you caused this. You brought this nightmare on yourself. Not to mention, thanks for killing my friends. It's not like I needed them to succeed or anything like that. I don't think there's permadeath on your friends. It's not like Fire Emblem or something like that. I have almost killed myself by getting super low stamina here. Let's do that and just bust her up a little bit. I could still easily lose this fight, by the way. And those rocks. Seriously, like... Good blocks, good blocks. I'm really frustrated because if I end up beating this, I can show off a little bit more of the game and maybe something will change my opinion. Which would be probably professionally irresponsible given that we're like 20 minutes into this video of me being like, ugh. But, like, oh, Jesus Christ. She did that roundhouse kick that almost killed me before, so I'm a little worried. Did she actually do like the Morpheus come on move? Oh my god, she knocked me out. Fuck this. Oh. You know, I can understand if there's a little bit of disappointment when it comes to this video, because I had just been showing off the same repetitive encounter over and over, but, you know, what can I say? It is what it is. My companions die in 10 seconds. I guess before I end the video, I'll check out this other waypoint that's way in the distance over here, and maybe this will give us the tools necessary to beat that bird. If so, a little bit of redemption offered, but still, that was a very frustrating, you know, 10 minutes or so that I spent with the game. And I'm none too pleased with my experience over the course of this video. That's a pretty cool looking fast travel beacon over here, though, I will admit. Or that's not a fast travel beacon. This is one of those things where we have to shoot the sun, I guess, since the moon is not in the sky right now. Do we get a cutscene here, or do we just end up talking to this dude and being like, what's up, man? We can't just walk into it, obviously, so let's shoot the sun here, like so. And that will bust up this cable. Or maybe not. Alright. Maybe you want to stand at like the intersection of the cable or something like that. I don't know. Again, I don't necessarily feel like it's always 100% well explained. Okay. Maybe you have to like stand... I have no idea. At this point, I'm very tempted to say that Zeno Clash or Zeno Clash is just a game that I don't get, and maybe that's fine. There's also guns in the game. There is a little bit of gunplay, which seems counterintuitive to me, but given the nature of this game and the fact that its strength is entirely its originality. But, you know, that's not necessarily my fault or the game's fault. Maybe this is the kind of thing where we say, like, if you're a fan of the original, you know, maybe you are watching this video saying I'm a fucking dumbass, but at the same time, as someone who, you know, just got the game from Atlas and have been playing it for probably close to 2 hours now, I don't know what I'm doing at all. I played through the tutorial, I played through the first hour of the game, hour and a half of the game, and I'm still struggling mightily with a lot of the mechanics. I think this game needs some fine-tuning when it comes to explaining to the player what to do. But hey, beautiful art design, am I right? In any case, there will be a link to the store page if, in spite of my seeming warnings here, you are interested in picking up Zeno Clash 2. But in any case, as always, thanks for you guys for watching. I again apologize for what may or may not be an unengaging video, but I hope you found some enjoyment in it nonetheless in my frustration and the tedium. As always, thanks to you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.